And here are the standings after round 10 in the FIDE Candidates Final 2016. Going back and forth here, folks. Exciting stuff. Fabiano Caruana beat Viscianan last round to tie for first with Sergei Karyakin. With 5.5, Levin Aronian and Viscianan right behind him. Anishkiri with 5. If he's got a chance to win this at all, he has to start winning all draws. Peter Svidler with 4.5. Carl Nakamura with 4. And Veselin Topalov with 3.5. So it's still the top 4 is anybody's tournament. Exciting stuff. The results after round 10. Hi folks, John Cordisco back again. Another game from round 11 in the FIDE Candidates Final 2016, also known as the Moscow Chess Candidates Final, between two great players. As White from Armenia, Levin Aronian, who's always has a tough time in the stretch. I don't know if it's mental or he's physically fatigued, but when he comes down to the stretch in these big tournaments, he just can't seem to put it together. And as Black, 7-time Russian champion. Let me repeat that, 7-time Russian champion. You know how good you have to be to win a Russian championship 7 times? Peter Svidler. Let's get to it. Aronian's white, Svidler is black. It's going to be a Slav. We'll go through the opening a little bit. Pawn takes A4. It's typical stuff. We'll just breeze through the opening here. C5, Bishop, Knight C6, castles. C takes, E takes. Interesting, when I was watching Today in Chess, they had talked about the isolated D-pawn. And they said if you want to be a decent chess player, you've got to learn how to play with an isolated D-pawn. Well, there it is. Bishop E7, Bishop castles, Queen E2. Now, according to the computer, that's the last book move. What to do, what to do? Computer likes Knight D5. Not really sure, but Peter went with Knight B4, obviously as part of his prep. Maybe he's trying to bring that knight back around to D5. Knight E5, Bishop D7, offering that bishop. All right, so that's the question. Would you trade your good knight there for a bishop? Peter says no. Rook to D1. Now the knight comes back. Bishop C1, interesting. Computer likes Bishop D3, H3, Rook D3 even. But you're going to see why he went Bishop C1. Bishop C6, and now Rook D3. He's going to do a rook lift. A rover, as Jennifer Shahadi calls it, a rook that goes up and over. And he's going to bring that rook right in the action. So looks like Aronian's going for it. Knight takes, pawn takes, Bishop D5. Okay. Let's take a look here. What do we got? Rook's going to have to move, what she was going to anyway. A bishop takes. But he plays knight takes. Probably wouldn't want the queen here, because you want the queen in the area where the attacks are starting to come. G6. Knight E5. There's that really good knight. Black does have a dark squared bishop, so theoretically you could chase him off with that. Knight D7, offering the trade. Of course he wants to trade. That's a damn good knight. Bishop H6, here come the pieces just flowing in now. Rook E8. And Aronian goes for it, F4. Queen C7, computer choice. Bishop H4 is an interesting move as well. But Bishop F8, looking to get rid of that bishop. He just moves the bishop to G5. Bishop back to E7. Now, the knight goes to G4. It's starting to look a little tough for Peter. Bishop takes, pawn takes. This rook's bearing down. This knight's coming in. This queen can come in. It's getting hairy. H5. And this is where I think Aronian stumbles. I'm not going to say he lost his nerve, but it's pretty close. Now, Aronian's got to win this game, I think, to keep pace with Caruana and Karyakin. And he starts trading pieces. Bishop takes, queen takes, knight e5. I just don't understand what happened, what he did. Why he traded so many pieces, because a lot of the attack is gone now. Looks like some tough choices for Peter. King h7 just to get out of the pin with the rook on the g file. Queen to c2. Of course, now we have 1, 2, 3 pieces hitting this pawn. Rook has to go to g8. Peter likes rook to h3, and I kind of do myself. Decided to go rook g5. I think was a small inaccuracy. After king to h8, rook to f3. Now he's trying to get the other rook into play. Knight takes. Now the problem is he can't play pawn takes. This rook's in pre. He's got to take with the d pawn or the rook. He decides to take with the rook. And it looks like the attack's pretty much petered out. I don't know why Aronian traded so many pieces so quickly. I think he had Peter. It's still a small advantage for white, but it's nowhere near what it was. Not as good as d takes. And after queen checks, queen f2, queen to a3. Small advantage for black. But after rook takes, queen d6, queen d2, it looks like Aronian's just lost the thread. Basically the attacks are gone. Black's king is very safe now. It's white's king that's kind of getting exposed here. He's got some back rag problems. King g7, rook g3. Aronian still thinks there's something here. Rook h8. Queen to b2, threatening black's b7 pawn. And of course, black just ignores it. Queen takes. Rook. Queen e4. Here comes the other rook. Looks like Peter's sacrificed the pawn to get some counterplay. Opens up the b file, looking good. Rook to b5. I think that was the beginning of the end, frankly. I think he should have toughed it out and played rook takes h5. Or even h3 or h4 just to get some loot for his king. But he decided to go rook to b5. Trade. Queen a3. And slowly but surely, black's creeping back into this game. And this is where I think Aronian's pretty much given up on winning this game. He goes queen to c2, which I don't care for at all. It's not a horrible move, but he probably should have checked on e5. Rook to b8. And now queen to e2. Not so good. Queen checks, king f2, and he loses the f pawn. Is this savable? Maybe. King moves, queen checks, king f2, king comes back. Now that's the 41st move, so I'm not really sure why they did that. The time control is at 40 moves. King g1, and now just simply king g8, just to get out of that check. In case black ever moves the queen, this check loses the rook. So he just moves the king. Just easy peasy. Queen b2. a6. Aronian just reinforces it. A takes. c5. Queen e4. And this, I think, is the mistake that seals Aronian's doom. Queen to d2. It's an almost 5-point advantage. Now it's an over 5-point advantage for black. Rook to f3, I think, was his best hope. Then after b4, h3. But after queen to d2, it's just a blunder. Queen checks. King. Rook A8. Look at this. The threat is, of course, rook here. Queen goes to E1. Queen to B2 check. And that's where Levin Aronian resigns. Tough break for Levin. He's right in the hunt. Give you an idea what would have happened after Queen E2. Queen takes check. Rook E3. Queen takes. He's 3 pawns behind. He's 3 pawns down. But absolutely nowhere to go. So that's tough break. So Peter Svidler, taking advantage of Aronian's inaccuracies, pulls out a win. Tough break, Levin. It just seems that every time Levin gets in these really important tournaments and he's doing well towards the finish, he just can't put it together. I'm not a psychologist. I just know that to be the truth. Whatever the reason is, I think he's more than capable. He just can't seem to put it together when it really counts. Anyway, folks, hope you enjoyed the game. Look for some more games. Only 14 rounders. We only got 3 more rounds to go after this. And as I always say, if you think chess is just a game, you're not playing it right. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.